Who is Moses in Islam? Moses in Islam is one of the possessors of consistency of the messengers. The Muslims should believe in him, love him, and respect him to be faithful to Allah. Moses was mentioned in 136 places in the Quran, and his story was the most mentioned. In Islam began during a perilous time when the Pharaoh of Egypt ordered his men to kill all the newborn sons. In this dark era that came upon the Israelites, Moses was born. His mother, terrified by the threat to her child, was commanded by Allah to place her child in a box and cast it into the Nile River. She asked her daughter to tow the child. The box was carried near the Pharaoh's palace, and a servant of the Pharaoh picked it up. When he found the child inside, he told the Pharaoh, whose initial orders were to kill the child. However, his wife asked him to spare the child's life and to raise him as their own. They then needed someone to feed the child, so his sister suggested a good nurse who could take care of him, leading to his return to his mother. According to Israelites' hadith, when Moses is on the Pharaoh's lap in his childhood, he grabs the Pharaoh's beard and slaps him in the face. This action prompts the Pharaoh to consider Moses as the Israelite who would overthrow him, and well, the Pharaoh wanted to kill Moses. Persuades him not to kill him because he is an infant. Instead, he decides to test Moses. For young Moses, one containing rubies and the other glowing coals. Moses reaches out for the rubies, but the angel Gabriel directs his hand to the coals. Moses then grabs a glowing coal and puts it in his mouth, burning his tongue. The incident, Moses suffers a speech defect but is fortunately spared by the Pharaoh. The father of Moses in Islam is said to be named Imran. And what about Moses' mother in Islam? Ibn Atiyah said in Al-Muharrar Wajiz, her name was Yuhana. Moses left Egypt, and when he reached the waters of Midian, he saw men drawing water for their animals, while two women stood by quietly holding back their animals. He asked them why they were waiting, and their answer was, "We cannot water our animals until the men have left. That is our misfortune." Moses helped them, and after they left, one of them came back again and told him that her father wanted to talk to him. He went with her and told her father about the circumstances, and the man told him that leaving Egypt was the right thing to do. The man was impressed by Moses and offered one of his daughters in marriage. Moses agreed and started his life in Midian. After 8 years, Moses left with his wife and family. On their journey, he saw a fire in the direction of Mount Tur. Moses observes a large fire and instructs the family to wait until he returns with fire for them. When Moses reaches the valley of Tur, God calls out to him from the right side of the valley from a tree, on what is revered as Al-Buqa al-Mubarakah, the blessed ground in the Quran. Moses is commanded by God to remove his shoes and is informed of his selection as a prophet, his obligation of prayer, and the day of judgment. God states that these are signs for the Pharaoh and orders Moses to invite Pharaoh to the worship of one God. Miracles of Moses in Islam. The number of the famous miracles is 9, and they are as follows. 1. His staff. 2. His hand becomes white. 3. The miracle of the locust disaster. 4. The miracle of the louse disaster. 5. Hordes of frogs infesting Egypt. 6. Water turning to blood. 7. In the Tea Desert, 12 fountains squirted out of the rock as he struck the rock with his staff. 8. The children of Israel passing through the sea by the parting of the sea. 9. Mount Sinai being picked up from its place and raised above the children of Israel. How did Moses die in Islam? According to Islamic hadiths, the angel of death was sent to Moses. When he came to Moses, Moses slapped him in the eye. The angel returned to his Lord and said, "You have sent me to a slave who does not want to die." Allah said, "Return to him and tell him to put his hand on the back of an ox, and for every hair that will come under it, he will be granted 1 year of life." Moses then asked, "O Lord, what will happen after that?" Allah replied, "Then death." Moses said, "Let it come now." Moses then requested Allah to let him die close to the Holy Land so that he would be at a distance of a stone's throw from it. How long did Moses live in Islam? It is said that the Prophet Moses lived 120 years. He was 120 years old when he died. Where is Moses buried in Islam? The exact place is unknown. However, it is said that he is buried 11 kilometers south of Jericho and 20 kilometers east of Jerusalem in the Judean wilderness. Moses is also very important in Islam for having been given the revelation of the Torah, which is considered to be one of the true revealed scriptures in Muslim theology. Muslims generally hold that much of the Torah is confirmed and repeated in the Quran. Moreover, according to Islamic tradition, Moses was one of the many prophets Muhammad met during the event of the Miraj, when he ascended through the seven heavens.